In a small forgotten village in southeastern Nigeria, life was never easy. The houses were made of mud, the roofs leaked when it rained, and hunger was a regular visitor in many homes. Among the children who walked those dusty roads every morning was a quiet girl named Kayameka. She had no shoes, no fine clothes, and no rich family to support her. But even in poverty, there was something different about her. In her eyes lived a dream bigger than the village itself. Kayameka lived alone with her mother, Mama Ngozi, a hardworking woman who sold tomatoes, cassava, and peppers in the local market. Every day, Mama Ngozi sat for hours under the hot sun just to earn enough money for food and school fees. Some days, she came home with almost nothing. Yet she always smiled for her daughter, hiding her own pain so Kayameka would never lose hope. Every morning, Kayameka walked a long distance to school barefoot. Her school bag was torn, her uniform faded, and her notebooks nearly full because she could not afford new ones. Other children looked at her with pity or laughter, but she kept walking. She did not have much, but she carried something powerful inside her: determination. While other children spoke about ordinary jobs, Kayameka had a dream that sounded impossible for someone like her. She wanted to become a doctor. She had seen too many poor people suffer because they could not afford treatment. She had watched sickness turn into tragedy in homes like hers. Deep inside her heart, she promised herself that one day she would become the kind of help her village never had. One evening, under the soft moonlight outside their small house, Mama Ngozi told her daughter something she would never forget. She said education was the only road that could carry her out of poverty. She told Kayameka not to let people's laughter kill her dream. Those words entered the girl's heart like fire, and from that night, she knew she would fight for her future no matter how hard life became. One day in class, the teacher asked every student what they wanted to become in the future. Some said lawyers, some said traders, and others said pilots. But when it was Kayameka's turn, she stood up and said with quiet confidence, "I want to become a doctor." For 1 second, the room was silent. Then the whole class burst into laughter. Among those laughing the loudest was a rich classmate named Kenechukwu. He mocked her openly and reminded everyone that her mother still sold vegetables under the sun. To him, poverty meant failure. He believed a poor village girl had no right to dream of becoming a doctor. His words hurt Kayameka deeply, but they also planted a stronger determination inside her heart. That evening, Kayameka returned home with tears in her eyes. She tried to stay strong, but the pain of humiliation followed her all the way back. When Mama Ngozi asked what happened, the girl broke down and told her everything. She confessed how small and ashamed she felt. For the first time, her dream felt heavy. But Mama Ngozi did not allow her daughter to surrender to shame. She held her close and told her that people often laugh at what they do not understand. She reminded Kayameka that mockery could never decide her future. Only courage, effort, and faith could do that. Those words lifted Kayameka from despair and gave her strength to continue. As final exam season approached, a new problem appeared. There was no money for the registration fee. Kayameka thought her journey might end there. But without telling her daughter, Mama Ngozi took out an old silver anklet from her wedding days, one of the last precious things she owned, and sold it to pay the fee. When Kayameka found out, she cried. That sacrifice became the moment she decided she would never fail. After school and small daily jobs, Kayameka spent her nights studying under a weak kerosene lamp. While others slept, she stayed awake reading biology, chemistry, and physics. Her eyes burned, her body ached, and sometimes the fuel ran out. But even in darkness, she kept reading by moonlight. She knew that if she stopped now, her mother's sacrifice would be wasted. Life did not give Kayameka the luxury of only being a student. Before school, she fetched water for neighbors to earn a few coins. After school, she sold groundnuts and helped in the market. She carried both books and burdens at the same time. Every little effort kept her dream alive. When the exam results were finally released, the entire school was stunned. Kayameka had not only passed, she had ranked among the best students in the district. Teachers were proud, classmates were speechless, and the same people who once laughed at her could no longer deny her brilliance. For the first time, victory began to speak louder than poverty. Medical school was still far away, but Kayameka applied for a scholarship. Wearing a borrowed dress and oversized shoes, she traveled to the city for the interview. She was nervous, surrounded by polished people and unfamiliar confidence. But when they asked why she wanted to study medicine, she spoke from the deepest part of her heart. She said she wanted to become the help poor people never had. Weeks later, the letter arrived. Kayameka had won the scholarship. For a long moment, she and her mother could not even speak. Then they held each other and cried tears of joy. It was not just a scholarship. It was proof that all the hunger, all the mockery, and all the sacrifice had not been in vain. Medical school was harder than Kayameka had imagined. The lectures were endless, the textbooks were heavy, and the exams were brutal. Many of her classmates came from rich homes and had every advantage, while she struggled with money, transport, and food. But she refused to fall behind. She studied with discipline and endured every challenge one day at a time. In university, Kayameka quickly saw how different her life was from others. Some students had cars, new laptops, and comfort. She had none of that. Sometimes people judged her accent, her clothes, or her silence. But instead of letting their privilege break her confidence, she let hardship sharpen her purpose. During hospital training, Kayameka witnessed the painful truth again and again: poor patients often came too late because treatment was too expensive or too far away. She saw fear in their eyes, delay in their care, and suffering that could have been prevented. Each patient reminded her of home. Each word strengthened her mission to return one day and make a difference. Then came the call she feared most. Her mother had collapsed again back in the village. Kayameka rushed home immediately, her heart full of dread. When she saw Mama Ngozi lying weak and breathless, she felt both fear and urgency. This was no longer just a daughter returning home. This was a future doctor facing the pain that had shaped her life. Using all the knowledge and courage she had gained, Kayameka arranged proper treatment for her mother. It was expensive and difficult, but she refused to give up. Slowly, Mama Ngozi recovered. Standing beside that hospital bed, Kayameka made a decision that would shape the rest of her life. After becoming a doctor, she would return to serve her people. After years of sacrifice, exhaustion, and perseverance, the day of graduation finally arrived. Her name was called Dr. Kayameka Ngozi Okafor. In that moment, the poor barefoot girl from the village became a doctor. Her mother sat in the audience with tears running down her face, watching the impossible become real. Soon after graduation, Kayameka received job offers from big city hospitals. The salaries were good, the facilities were modern, and the life would have been comfortable. But she remembered the suffering of her village, the long road she had walked barefoot, and the pain her mother once endured without help. So she made a powerful choice: she would go back home. With determination and support, Kayameka transformed an abandoned building into a village clinic. She named it Ngozi Community Health Center after her mother. When the signboard was unveiled, the whole village gathered in amazement. The same place that once laughed at her now stood in silence, watching her return with healing in her hands. The clinic quickly changed lives. Pregnant women received proper care, children were treated on time, and poor families no longer had to wait helplessly for sickness to become tragedy. Kayameka was no longer just a doctor. She became hope, dignity, and proof that one person's success can heal an entire community. One afternoon, a little village girl with a torn school bag ran up to Dr. Kayameka and proudly said she also wanted to become a doctor. In that moment, Kayameka saw her younger self standing before her. She smiled, knelt down, and promised to help. That was when she understood her story was no longer only about survival. It had become a legacy.